Hi, this is Phil Shapiro in Tacoma Park. I'm at the public library, and one of the people who comes in to use our computers pretty often is this interesting fellow, Josh Neal, who's been doing work in Haiti. And I got to talk to him and found out a bit about his work, and I want to find out more because it seems like it's a real passion of his, the work that he's doing down there. So tell me about this organization. You're the executive director. Um, what's the mission?
Sure, we're a community development organization that's been doing work in Haiti for 26 years now in a little place called Fond Blanc. And this was started by a Haitian man who moved to the States about 30 years ago and wanted to get back to his community. He's been over here doing taxi work, raising a family, all that kind of thing. But even though he has limited resources, he knew that he could help in some way. So about 26 years ago, he started, and all he was doing was sponsoring kids via scholarships to go to local schools in the area. And then about 20 years ago, he realized that it wasn't working. It was causing all sorts of problems, so he started his own school about 20 years ago. And ever since then has educated well over 2,000 kids throughout that time.
And the name of the organization again is?
GSI Haiti.
GSI Haiti. Great.
Yeah.
Now, you were just down in Haiti not long ago. How did that trip go?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, we throughout the years, we've been taking over teams of consultants to come down there and help advise us on our projects and programs and even help us start new ones. During that time, we took a couple back-to-back teams who helped come and evaluate our programs and strengthen them while they're there. So we often take like educators, engineers, and others that have technical backgrounds that are able to help build up our programs and make them stronger.
And what does the school look like down there?
Oh, wow.
Is it?
So 92% of schools in Haiti are private schools, and that's one of the highest numbers in the world. The amount of money that the government spends on education is one of the lowest in the world. And so most of the schools you'll see there are run by either international NGOs or they're started by local churches in the area or that sort of thing. So you often have makeshift sort of schools, at least outside of the bigger cities, which most of the schools are. Of course, in Port-au-Prince, you're going to have more the brick and mortar kind of schools, but out in the boonies, you're just going to have oftentimes ramshackle schools that may be just palm trees with lining over top of it, or if there's money there, that they'll make a brick school. But usually it's just those that you can throw together to educate the kids in the community as best you can. And oftentimes there's not enough schools to go around, at least outside of those larger cities.
Now, GSI has its own school, is that right?
Yes, yeah, we
Okay.
started about 19, 20 years ago that we opened up our own school.
And what does the GSI school look like?
Yeah, so throughout that time, we've been building, and it's been a slow process. So we have the foundation, and it's gonna, it will have 16 classrooms by the time it's done, and a couple of administrative offices, even a community clinic as part of it when it's going to be done. But right now it's just bamboo poles and then tarps stretched over top of it, and then we even had we have a hospital kind of tent, almost like one of the old MASH tents that you'd see on the show MASH.
Right.
And that's one of the classrooms that we have, and you just make do with what you've got. And it's definitely not ideal, but throughout that time, our staff over there, they're really awesome. We've really built into them, and they've responded so well. So even though we're a school that's just kind of struggling by, at least with the kind of structure that we have, we're still one of the top schools in our area academically. So you go with what you've got, but obviously we'd love to have something more. And if we were to build up our building, just like many of the other schools in the area, we'd be able to double the capacity of the kids there.
Right. What ages are the students at the school?
Yeah, so our school runs pre-K through 6. Now, it's a little different over in these countries as it is here in the States, where you often have elementary, middle school, and then high school. There, it's just divided into two, where you go like kindergarten through 6th, and then you go 7 through 12. So yeah, in the future, we're definitely looking to add a high school, but one thing at a time for sure.
Right. Um, Tell me about what are the popular misconceptions about Haiti?
Oh, sure. So when I'll mention to people about possibly going, and whether that's just to come down and see our programs, help us out, or even just encouraging people to go for vacation, sort of an alternative vacation that you might not think of usually when you think vacation. So people think unstable, politically unstable. They'll think dirty, noisy, dangerous. And for sure, those kind of things have been there over time. I mean, they have had two coups, like political coups, over the last 25 years. And there's definitely, at least in the capital, you do have noise, and you do have dirt, and those sorts of things. But that's certainly not all of Haiti. And I would say for the political situation, it's definitely stabilized. There hadn't been any real protest beyond what you might find in a developing country like that, usually. And so when you go there, it's a whole lot different. I like to say this, and we even have it on our website. We say the perception of Haiti is much different than the reality of Haiti.
Okay, that's interesting.
And so many that we talk, they say, yeah, I'm so glad that I didn't listen to what other people had to say, or I'm so glad I didn't listen to what I thought it was. And I think you'll even ask the former President Clinton, him and his wife, I know they honeymooned there, and they're big proponents of Haiti, and they have the same kind of thing. So don't just listen to me, listen to former President Bill Clinton and his wife.
Okay, good. How long were you there on the recent trip?
This past time I was there almost a month.
Okay.
And typically we go down for a couple weeks at a time, and it just depends on the needs that we have there and how much we want to go support our staff in various ways. And sometimes we just go there to encourage them, and that's enough.
How many staff members do you have down there?
Well, our paid staff, I think, is about 16. And then we have other volunteer members who definitely come around when projects are getting going and just to come and help out wherever they can.
When you go and stay, is there like a hotel? Is there what kind of accommodations for people who are going to stay to visit?
Sure. Yeah. Well, thankfully for our organization, he has family members who have a couple houses that they've built in the capital city there, and our teams are able to go there and stay. Now, other organizations, when they go, are the people, they usually stay at a guest house or a hotel for sure. And then when we go to our place in Fond Blanc, so way out in the rural area, we stay with people there. We stay with a family generally. And others who know us in the community will take us in, and that's so great to be able to do that. To be able to stay with a local family, it's such a different dynamic than what you get when you just go to a local hostel, and when you just go at a hotel. You don't get the immersion of culture and language and all those kind of things. You don't get to really see, oftentimes, the real life of these people and how they live, and it's just such a great thing that we have. I know sometimes it's been it's been a little crowded at times, especially when we've taken bigger teams and that sort of thing, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Just the dynamic that it creates when you get to stay with those local families. It's like you're a part of Haiti, at least for that small time that you're there.
Right. Now, you're heading back there soon? There's a trip planned, is that right?
Yeah. In just a few weeks, I'll be heading back and leading a couple teams. And actually, for the first time ever, we're kind of opening up more to the public, to the DC metro area public. So even those that are listening to this, if you want to go to gsihaiti.org /summer trip, you could even learn more about that. So it's going to be a service trip more this time. And we usually focus on service for sure, but different aspects too, like cultural immersion, living as they do, even shadowing them for a day and seeing how they live exactly, cooking the way they do. They don't, out where we're at, where our programs are outside of the capital city, there's no running water, there's no electricity, there's no waste management. So you take bucket baths and you go use an outhouse. And sometimes some people don't even have those. You use either spring water, natural spring, or water pumps. Or the other thing is you collect rainwater. that comes down, and you rig up something on your house that funnels that, and you have some sort of well or something like that, and that's the water that you survive with, essentially. You wash your dishes with it, you wash yourself with it, you drink water after you purify it with these methods. So with the electricity, you have it only one of two ways. You either are, and both ways require money. You're usually someone who has decent enough wealth in the community, which isn't that many people. You get it by electric generator, and that's noisy, and that's dirty, and that's costly. Or the other way is you have solar power. And for our organization, we are, even though we're small, we're definitely a small community organization. We definitely have big plans, and we're looking to bring solar electricity one house at a time. And we've even started a program where we've trained people in the community. If they want, they can learn construction and electricity, and they'll learn it the traditional way using gridded electricity, wire, that sort of thing, but also using solar power. And then even construction. So we have construction courses, we have electricity courses that are teaching our people how to do that in our area, and that hopefully that keeps our people there. It doesn't that hopefully brings jobs to our area if we're able to, for example, maybe get a grant and be able to buy solar panels and batteries and that sort of thing. So that if people can put down a small down payment, we'll go house to house and bring clean, sustainable electricity that way. I know so many people, they want to hold on and count on and hope that the government will bring wired electricity to their place. And I can just say this, that I've sat down, when we go in there, we try to sit down with people who have the bigger macro picture. And in our case, and in most countries, that's USAID and that's United Nations and their various programs that they have. And they've already told me that as far as our area goes, we can't really hold our breath. They definitely have others much, much higher on their list than us. And in the meantime, we would love to bring electricity that way, where our people, we're able to train them, and it's not outside forces coming in and doing that. It's our people bringing that to their own people, and that gets me excited. I would love to see that one day, and we think it's just around the corner.
I got to ask you, on your trips to Haiti, you've done a couple trips, right?
Yeah. So I came to the organization about 2.5 years ago myself. It's been around 26 years, as I was saying, and since that time, have gone a couple times a year, leading teams for various purposes throughout that time.
So the question I wanted to ask is, on your trips, did you can you recall seeing examples of homegrown ingenuity where somebody in a village or a small place had used their creative talents to create something that was helpful to themselves or their community? Do you remember seeing anything like that? Or any?
Yeah. I definitely did. They are very ingenious, and I think you see that in a lot of countries. I've done development work in other countries, and I see, and it baffles me. It's someone who lives in the United States, and when I want something, when I want a solution, I can either call up some service and someone can come out and do it, or I can go to Home Depot where I have just almost unlimited amount of plug-in solutions. In other words, I can, if my my dishwasher is broken, I can go to Home Depot and the guy will tell me exactly which part to do and how to do it, and I'll have all these detailed instructions. You don't have that there, and so what you have in place that oftentimes is ingenuity and just brilliant makeshift solutions. And we definitely saw that. So I've been in 4 times since the earthquake. So I joined the organization post-earthquake. And so people in the capital city, especially where a lot of the damage was done, you still see a lot of structures that have crumbled halfway, and you see a lot of people have to rig up things just to live, basically, and that's both inside the house and outside the house. And you see a lot of when the earthquake first happened, they built a number of tent cities. And I think in the beginning they had something like 10, and there were I think 4 or 5 major ones. And now they're down to about, I think, 2 tent cities that are still standing. And for the most part, that's a good sign, and in other ways, it's not. Sometimes it's a bit of the government just doesn't want that eyesore there. So to give sort of a better face and a better picture, oftentimes they might just push people out without them being ready to necessarily go out of those tent cities. But even within seeing all those things, you see a lot of people who have, and whether that's on their own through whatever kind of resources or scraps that they were able to just find anywhere, have made these living structures that are, if I were to do it, if someone were to try to count on me to do these things, they would essentially be homeless. But they come up with these amazing ideas for living and sustaining themselves, and oftentimes the only thing they need, they just need a few resources. They just need a little bit of funding, and they're just able to take off in ways that we would never be able to do that in the United States for more than one reason. But it was great to see a number of initiatives that sprung out of the earthquake. If you could look for any silver lining whatsoever, was these colleges, these grad school programs from both the United States and other areas, that they were, all of the theories that they had been learning in school about like green technology and sustainability and development, that they were able to implement those. And when I talked to a number of people, they said, yeah, we had these ideas and we went there and we see that some of them weren't gonna work. And we also saw that when we started partnering with the Haitians, that they were able to come up with so many better alternatives or so many better ideas or tweaks that we would have never thought of, even though we're in engineering programs, even though we're studying this stuff as like college and grad school kids. So what that tells me is, and what I've seen from my own self in our own programs out where we're at, is that oftentimes they just need a little bit. They just need a little bit of resources. They just need a little bit of funding. They just need a little bit of encouragement. And these are the things that will springboard them to be able to bring development and to bring sustainability to their people, to their lives, to their country.
I'm kind of curious, did you do any teaching in your career before you got into this nonprofit management?
I did, although it was usually part of doing the development work. So I was in Cambodia a number of years ago for a couple years, and one of my main things was teaching at a university. And that was both like teaching English, but also teaching business and economics concepts at one of the universities there in the capital city. And yeah, I mean, that was invaluable to be able to have that sort of experience. And I definitely use it in our present programs and projects that we have going on for sure. And then even in China for a year, I was also teaching there as well and training others for various projects and programs.
When you decided to choose Tacoma Park as a place to live, was it the multicultural angle that was attractive to you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I tell people I grew up in Kentucky, and when a lot of people hear that, they think, oh, overalls, farms, all that kind of thing. And I try to tell them, well, I'm like, I was northern Kentucky, which is about like 5 miles from Cincinnati, Ohio. And I try to tell them that you walk down the street and it's like a mini Washington, D.C. You know, you walk down one street of the main city there where I grew up, and you would run into, 10, 15 different nationalities and that sort of thing. So that's always been around me.
Here in Tacoma Park, we have 92 nationalities. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I had wanted to bring up the idea that one reason why I wanted to talk to you for sure was that there's a huge Haitian population in the Tacoma Park area. In Montgomery County for sure, but like Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, there's a huge diaspora of Haitians that are living here, and you didn't really bring this up, but I'll just take the opportunity to just say that many of them, I know that they try to get involved in causes, whether they're just supporting individual family members who are living in usually not the best living conditions over there, or they just want to give back to their home country, that they would love to have anyone partner with them in various ways to be able to help that country. And it's usually the case that when big things happen, like the earthquake in 2010 in Haiti, there's usually a flood of resources and a flood of money and a flood of opportunities and a flood of teams of consultants and experts going there and helping the situation. And then usually what happens is the next big crisis in a different part of the world comes up. And as you can imagine, it's almost like it floods in, and then when something else happens, it floods back out. It's almost like the tide going in and the tide coming back out, and not necessarily staying. So you have many organizations that set up camp post-earthquake, and most of them, they wanted to stay, but oftentimes they didn't realize that the money wasn't necessarily going to be coming in as much as it did when they started up, for example. So get involved with your neighbors. If they tell you that they're Haitian, if you know that they're Haitian, ask them how you can help, or even just ask them about Haiti. They love talking about their country, and it's for good reason that they do.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot. Talking with Josh Neal here in Tacoma Park at the Public Library.